Hello, everybody. Welcome to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill, and with us today we have cosplayer. I would say a veteran cosplayer who I look up to, the one and only Ivy Doomkitty. Ivy, how you doing?
Hello. I'm good, and you?
Oh, we're doing great down here. Had a highly productive couple of days. I don't know about you, but we've been trying to get a whole lot done in the next couple of weeks before San Diego Comic
Oh my
Con.
God. Yeah. San Diego, it came by a lot quicker than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Before I knew it, it's literally, a week and like 2 days away, a week and a half
But
away.
who's counting?
Everyone.
Oh, awesome. Hey, for those of you at home who for some reason aren't totally aware of Ivy and what she's been up to, obviously if you look up Ivy Doomkitty just about anywhere you'll find her. But I would recommend the first place people go would be ivydoomkitty.storenvy.com. I guess not all promotion is self-promotion. Sometimes you rely on your friends.
Oh, Lord.
But you got a whole bunch of cool stuff over there. Like a calendar. Your
Yeah.
own calendar.
Yeah, the calendar, well, the last of the 2016 ones, and then I'm going to start pre-orders for the 2017 in about a week or so.
Wow.
Once I get my cover art,
Oh, cool.
I'll be doing those, and I have T-shirts now and
Holy crap. Oh, I see that. Yeah. It's
t-shirts,
amazing.
books. I'm working on little 6-inch figures.
What?
Yeah, on Monday those are going to go up online, so I'm pretty excited about those.
Oh my goodness. That I need because I have a weakness for figures. I've got my little statue of David Han Solo figure right here.
Nice.
One of my favorites.
Look at that.
I would love to have a little Ivy Doomkitty figure. That'd be amazing. Everyone, go ahead on over there if you haven't already. Did I see somewhere that you are having some kind of a sale?
Yeah, currently.
Yes.
Yeah, I extended the 4th of July sale because a few people weren't getting, paid or whatever. Their pay period
Oh,
falls
yes, yeah.
Friday. So I said, I'll extend it another week for everyone else. So
That's awesome. And if you guys go over to Ivy's page on Facebook, which you should already be liking anyway, all the information's over there. Because
Oh.
Ivy is on top of things.
I try to as best I can with my ridiculously crazy schedule.
Yeah, I know. That's what I notice from following you is that you are prolific and world traveled. Where was your last adventure?
Last show I did was it Denver? Denver was my
Mhm.
last convention. But then after that, I went to Vegas for a thing for my sister.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going back to Vegas tonight.
What?
Yeah, to work on some pieces on a costume
Holy
by
cow.
the guy that helped build our wings
Yep.
for our Victoria's Secret Angels group last year is also helping us with some metalworking for the group that we're doing this year.
Neat.
So a bunch of us are driving out to Vegas tonight and coming back, I think, Saturday afternoon to knock out as much work as we can tomorrow.
Holy cow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's hardcore mode.
Are you going to the Toy Con in Vegas?
Super Toy Con, yes.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
in
be there.
August.
Yes, that's right. Well, that's after Comic Con. But yeah, I'll be there too. That's going to be cool.
Oh, sweetness.
That'll be super fun. Obviously, folks at home have been following. Brittany and I are working on our San Diego Comic Con costumes, some stuff from Fallout.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, we're pretty stoked about that. Did I hear that you added 2 new costumes to your to your goals?
Yeah. So Thursday is a new one, and Saturday is a new one because it's going in line with a panel that I'm doing with Zach Fischer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. He's actually finishing up the concept art this weekend,
Yep,
and then I'll get to start on it on Monday.
that's great.
So yeah, there's those two. I might do a new one for Sunday. I'm still debating on it because it's Sunday, usually a little more relaxed. And then I was thinking for Friday, just wearing Magneto.
That's good.
But for Magneto, there's a few things I got to tweak on it so that it's wearable for an extended period of time versus just like an hour or two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing the Fallout thing. I'm probably just gonna have two costumes: the Fallout thing and then my Han Solo, which is super comfy. I can wear that all day long. I like it.
Those are always the best, though.
Yeah.
The super comfortable ones. I find I really enjoy wearing Meg and Velma because I can get around all day with those without any issues, especially since they're sneakers and flats.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Zach is actually in the chat right now. He says he's going to try to get that concept art done.
Yay!
All right, Zach.
Dude, I am so excited for this thing we're doing on Saturday. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna sleep next week, and I have an 8-hour shoot on Wednesday.
Oh goodness.
All that. So I've got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, no kidding. The hardest working cosplayer in the business. We have been pretty busy over here. I just wanted to take a moment to tell everyone at home that the axe, I worked on an axe for E3 for Frank Cho. They did a whole set of costumes for the game For Honor for E3. And there's a video on that. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. I think they're going to do a couple of videos, but we will do a video on Monday of how I built the axe. So, all foam, of course. Foam and PVC pipe.
See, I need to learn how to do all of that because Warbler is great and all, but it's so damn heavy once you start adding, this piece and that piece, and it adds up and it gets really heavy and it becomes harder and harder to transport the more pieces you put versus foam just being so lightweight.
Oh, it's so great. Well, I'll tell you what, one of the next times I'm down in LA, we should go hang out in the shop, do some experimenting, play with some foam. Or vice versa, next time you're up here in Seattle.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
That was fun. You were, was the last time you were here Emerald City?
That was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to go this year.
Oh, that's right.
Yay. I was so sad. But
we had a good time.
Hopefully next year I'll be able to go. And I am doing Rose City Comic Con as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think we'll be there too.
Yay. Okay, sweet.
Awesome. I love that I get to go, I have all these wonderful friends around the country and planet, and we're like, hey, you want to meet up in Portland? We'll go over to Portland. We want to go to meet you in Vegas. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we got a pretty good pile of questions here from our wonderful chat, and I figure we should just about dive into it. We'll start with a question from me, though. Something I want to know.
Okay.
You have had the wonderful opportunity of working with Frank Cho, who's awesome, and I'm curious, how that got started. How did you originally get to work with an amazing artist like Frank?
Honestly, I started off as a huge fangirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had started reading Liberty Meadows and also Ms. Marvel. He was currently on the Ms. Marvel book. I believe it was the relaunch, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And just fell in love with his art and his writing for Liberty Meadows. So the first time I met him was at San Diego Comic-Con. God, I don't even know how long ago. 8 years, maybe 9 years ago, and had a massive fangirl moment. Oh my God, you're Frank Cho, you're amazing, I love your work. And we actually started a tradition. The first time I met him, he would sign my boob. Yeah, so he would Cho it. So it was like, can you Cho me? So he'd Cho the boob, and every time I'd see him, he'd do that. He'd sign a bunch of my books, and maybe I don't know. Couple years later, it kind of progresses into we become friends, and he gets my email, and I never hear from him via email until maybe it was 6 years ago. He shoots off an email, and on that email it says, hey Ivy, I'm doing a figure modeling class at one of these comic book conventions. Would you be interested in being the model for the figure class? So for me, I'm thinking, oh my God, my absolutely favorite comic book artist. It'd be horrible to say no, but I've never done this. I've never done any modeling. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I I jumped in and said yes. I just dove right in without really realizing what I was getting myself into. So, I agreed to it. The panel was in 2 weeks. I hadn't previously had not planned on going to the show because it was also the same weekend as the Strawberry Festival and strawberries. So, and I had to put together a costume with a friend and, did the panel. I was terrified because he had a table set up on the stage and then had a chair set up on that table, and I was supposed to get from the floor to the top of the table and sit on the chair on the stage, which was really scary as hell. And in retrospect, bad idea. I could have fallen off of that. But I was just so excited to do it, and he did the drawing. He then, after the panel, gave me the piece.
Oh, wow.
Gifted it to me, which was just in the way that he draws like live art, or like actual. It's not the cartoony comics book style. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of cross hatching, a lot beautiful line work on it, and then it just kind of went from there. So it was like fan to friend to, hey, I want you to start modeling for me, and then it just progressed to eventual cosplay.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I guess the longer I've been doing or sticking with any one given profession, the more I notice how common that story is when it comes to like things, really great collaborations. Is that people with common interests, or people, whether one person's a fan of the other or not, just being buddies for a long time before something kind of like there's a crossover where it's like you'd be perfect for this other thing that I'm doing, and then there's this explosion of creativity. That's pretty awesome. Cool. All right, we got like I said, a bunch more questions from our chat. Thank you, Ivy, for answering my question. Phoenix Revival, one of our regulars, wants to know, Ivy, you're a big proponent of cosplay for all in your origin story, and you talked about Frank Cho asking you to model and how it gave you the confidence boost you needed to start cosplaying. Have you ever done something similar, such as plucking a random cosplayer you found who was having confidence issues and mentored them? Oh, now you, the student has become the master.
There have been instances where, a cosplayer will come up to me and they'll, ask questions about this or that, or you can sense that there's like just this underlying reason for why they haven't cosplayed or feel uncomfortable. Like, they're hesitant. You can tell, but based off of how they speak to you, that they want to do it, but that there's something else behind that that's stopping them. Mm-hmm. So usually with things like that, I'll take that person aside and be like, okay, like, what's going on? What's the issue? What's stopping you? And just kind of go from there. Give them a few things like tips or information that has helped me along the way, for me to feel comfortable to the level that I do now. But there'll just be times, we see someone go on stage and they're so nervous, or you'll see them behind stage and, they seem like they're just afraid or terrified. And, every now and then when I see that, I'll go up to them and be like, hey, you're great. You're gonna do awesome. When you're walking on that stage, this is your moment to shine. It's your moment on that stage, so own it. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in front of people that understand you and like your character and understand what it's like to either be bullied or picked on, because at the end of the day, in geek culture, all of us that have grown in this, we've at one point or another have been picked on or bullied for the things that we like because it wasn't the in thing at the time. So we all understand what that feels like. So at the end of the day, we don't want other people to feel that way either. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything we can do to stop others from feeling that level of discomfort or have those issues of self-esteem, it's up to us to help them.
That's very good. I appreciate that your cat had something to say as well.
Yeah, he's lonely.
And I'm going to ask before my wife Brittany asks, what is your cat's name?
His name is Gandalf.
Oh, Gandalf. That's right. Oh, look at him.
Yeah. Hey, baby.
What a friendly dude.
Kiddo.
All right, thank you, Phoenix Revival, for the question.
Mwah.
Let's go. Oh, everyone in the chat's like, I hear a kitty.
Fur babies.
All right, yeah, we have a couple of fur babies over here too. They don't get to come down here though. Enough of their fur gets all over my props already.
Oh, see, for me, it's a staple to bring cat fur in some shape or form or another on
Yeah.
one piece or multiple pieces
Hmm.
in my luggage because there's just no escaping. I can't escape it.
No, that's how you can tell if a prop is an authentic Bill Duran prop, is if you can find at least one cat hair in the paint job somewhere. All right, let's grab another question. This one is from Shauna. This is, let's see. I know not all characters are shaped as I am. Although, to be fair, Shauna, very few characters are shaped like any human being. I wish I looked like Wolverine, but Wolverine is very non-realistic. So what Shauna wants to know, I just want to do a great cosplay regardless of my body type or character that I choose, but I'm nervous about getting up there or going out there. Any tips for a first-time cosplayer? That's a good one.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. At the end of the day, it's about you enjoying yourself and having fun,
Yeah.
regardless of what X, Y, and Z person's opinion is going to be, because everyone's going to have one, either it be good or bad. But for me, the one thing that held me back with cosplaying, because I mean, I've been going to cons for 11 years, but I didn't start cosplaying until 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And this whole time I wanted to do it, but the reason why I didn't was because I was afraid of being made fun of and picked on for my body type, because it wasn't the norm. And the norm is, tall, thin, body types, and Caucasian generally. There weren't really a lot of Latinas that were cosplaying, that were thicker girls that were cosplaying. So for me, I had no one I could identify with, or anyone that was outspoken about the topic saying, hey, no, wait, it's okay. You can cosplay however you want and be you. Because at the end of the day, cosplay is art, and you're wearing that art on your body.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can tell you what's the right or wrong way of doing that art, because it's each person's individual interpretation on that. And because we all have different body types, we're going to wear those costumes differently. And I think that those differences are the things that make each and every one of us unique. There's one photo that I took back at WonderCon a few years ago when I did Wonder Woman, and it was all the Wonder Women from the con that day. And every single girl's costume was a little different from the next. And every single girl was a completely different body type and skin color from the next. And I just thought that those differences were something to definitely be celebrated on. And it was just beautiful to see that kind of diversity all displayed over each person's love for the same character. That's the thing that unified all of us.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I especially love when, it's very common at Dragon Con for all the DC characters get together for a big photo shoot. And then they'll be like, get all the Flash together, all of the Batmans together. And each one is a completely different human being, and usually a different version of Batman. But they're all, celebrating their love for that one character in the way that they are, compelled to through their costumes. And I think there's something pretty awesome about that. All right. Good question. Good question, Shauna. Next one.
Definitely just go for it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just go for it.
Cosplay has given me a level of confidence that I would have never had I not cosplayed. And the one regret I have is not doing it sooner, because I would have had a more positive outlook years ago.
Yeah.
So just do it. Go ahead and do it. I promise you will not regret it.
All right. Next question. Something a little more technical, the nuts and bolts of running a business here. Fearless Facade wants to know, what is your solution for shipping goods to your fans? Fearless Facade does a lot of mask making, so he's got to mail a lot of masks.
Okay. Well, for myself, because it's mostly, paper goods, I use poster tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And then for anything from my Patreon, because they're smaller prints, I just use the flat mailers. But for me, anything that I ship, I'd rather spend a little more money on getting higher quality containers or boxes to ensure that it arrives safely than to, try to save a few cents here and there and it not arrive. Because there's a few shipping companies that where they have poster tubes that are just a little bit thinner, but that makes all the difference between it arriving nicely or just being, bent in the middle or what have you.
I will say, whenever I've skimped on shipping stuff, it's been a disaster. Because if something gets there and it's broken, then you have to do twice the work to rectify it.
And then at that point, you're out of pocket because, I'd rather get there right the first time. So, that's usually what I do. I don't know if that helps with shipping masks.
I don't know. We ship a lot of books over here. So we get, the flat rate padded envelopes for books. Those work really well. And then we go to Uline and get boxes for books for international orders. Brittany does a lot of that stuff because she's awesome. All right. Next question. Not a question, but Josh just wants to thank Ivy for being awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, this is cool. He said that his wife and Ivy got to speak at Emerald City Comic Con a couple of years ago, and the conversation helped give his wife confidence to suit up in costume for the first time. That's wonderful.
Makes me happy. Those are those good feels.
Yeah, they are. Let's see. Fanime Cosplay wants to know. This is a good one. What costumes do you get the most enjoyment from wearing? The ones that you spend the most time working on, or the simplest ones that seem to come together without a flaw?
For me, I honestly, the one part of costuming that I absolutely love is the painting part.
Ooh, yeah.
I find that I very much enjoy painting armor more than anything.
Well, you and me have that in common.
I hate the pattern drafting part. I'm definitely, though, I really enjoy working with materials that I'm unaccustomed to working with, because I'm one of those people that I'm a hands-on learner. If I read it, it's in one ear out the other. I have to physically see it and also be hands-on to learn. So I like challenging myself with different materials, either it be fabrics or, armor or techniques, things like that. And I just get enjoyment from those trial and errors, even though sometimes you just really want to throw something across.
Do you have a particular costume that you wanted to throw across the room the most?
One that I never ended up wearing. One of my first attempts at making a bodysuit was Spider-Woman. Mm-hmm. I became overly ambitious, having never made a bodysuit or really sewn much, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. I saved it.
Yeah.
So I can, every now and then I'll take a look at it and be like, you almost wore it. It's bad. It's oh God. The zipper goes like this.
Oh no.
It's terrible.
I think just about every cosplayer has a similar story. I know I've got one where I just bit off more than I could chew and I bailed on it.
Yeah, I currently have 13 or 14 costumes sitting in my garage at varying levels of completion. So I'm slowly starting to pull them and finish them, since it's just getting ridiculous and out of hand at this point.
That one came to us from Famine Cosplay. Sorry. Next one. This one kind of crosses into what we were just talking about, but Blizz Trex wants to know what your most challenging costume was to make. I guess one that you finished, but was the most challenging. Challenging. Well, not Magneto, although I originally thought it would be because I've never made a breastplate before. Mm-hmm. But that actually felt very natural. Maybe, I don't know, not Bison so much. Well, maybe Bison. No, Doom. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Doom. I had never worked with non-stretch fabrics before.
Mm-hmm.
So that part scared me. I'd never had made armor before either. So just all of those different components and putting all of that together, literally 72 hours before San Diego Comic Con,
Oh, geez.
from start to finish. I did not sleep for 3 days. I do not. And the morning of the day I was wearing the costume was when all the armor was getting painted.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you
That was
what did you paint it with that it would be dry in time?
just acrylics.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
All
Same
right.
with Magneto. The morning of the shoot for Magneto, I did all of my painting in acrylics in the hotel room before I shot.
Very good.
Because apparently I cannot help it but procrastinate like a mother. Like, really bad.
I think what it boils down to is a lot of ambition, possibly overly ambitious.
A little too much. It's one of those things, though, that on my end, when I can have an idea for a costume months in advance. Yeah, you know what? For San Diego, I want to do this or I want to do that, and I'll put it off and I'll put it off and I'll put it off. But then a few days before I'm actually supposed to wear this thing, it's almost like my brain kicks in a high gear and says, "No, you need to do this." But it's at that moment of stress and you just feel overwhelmed with, "Oh my God, I haven't done anything." I relish that moment. I enjoy that moment. I enjoy that level of stress. But it's also those moments that don't allow me to second guess myself, and I usually do better work then than if I take a longer period of time. Anything that I've made where it's taken me longer periods of time, for some reason doesn't come out as great as I thought it would. And it's usually just me second guessing myself on this or that because I have too much time. Whereas when I'm on a crunch time, there's no room for second guessing. You have to go with your gut instinct with everything that you do. And there's no room for error either. And I don't know. I think that's just one of those things that I enjoy the most, just that level of stress, even though it just sounds super messy. I know.
I will say, I know. Similarly for me, like there comes a point in a build where you've got to take a step that can't be undone, right?
Yep.
And I kind of like live for those moments because it's leading up to this thing, and you're like, all right, as soon as I glue this thing in, it's in there. There's no taking it apart. But I find something deeply satisfying in that, in making that commitment, and then just dealing with the fallout, moving forward with the build.
Yep. No, that and one thing I absolutely hate and I try to avoid is having to do any kind of sanding.
Yeah.
That's the worst. For my Cusco neck piece and the crown, I used high build filler primer, the automotive primer, over all of my pieces. And at first, the first layer, I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. Sand, no big deal. And then I went with a finer grade, and then a finer grade, and then I really hated life. As, because I went through, I think, 3 different grades of sanding paper, and it was a pain in the ass. Yeah. So, I hate sanding. I will say that. That's one thing I absolutely detest.
That is absolutely fair. Let's see. We got one from Steve from Canada, who says that, love your cosplay, Ivy, and you are awesome. A lot of that going around.
Thank you.
Steve really wants to know what cosplays you're working on, if they're not too top secret, specifically. Probably stuff for San Diego Comic-Con.
I don't know if we're allowed to say what the one on Thursday is.
Oh, super.
I haven't gotten the okay from the group.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is Zach still in the chat?
I'm not sure.
Okay, if Zach okays it for the one on Saturday, then I'll definitely say it.
I can't tell. We'll know it. We'll know if he gets back to us in the chat. He's laughing. I don't know what he's laughing at.
Can I say or no? Or will we?
Zach says yes.
Yay! Okay. For Saturday, I will be debuting an armored Bowser costume.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Zach is doing the artwork for it, And my friend Jackie, you can find her online as Jackie Craft.
Oh yeah, we had Jackie on the show a couple weeks ago.
She's so awesome.
Yeah.
This is a while ago. She was asking, what I was working on, and I told her, well, I want to eventually do an armored Bowser. And between me telling her that, and I don't remember if it was the end of the day or the next day, she sends me this photo of this insane breastplate. And she's like, "Here, I made this for you." And like literally, like my jaw dropped at the level of detail that she put on this. She's like, "I made this for you. I'm sending it to you. What's your address?" So I've been sitting on this breastplate for months now, and I thought, you know what? Why don't we just let's do the thing? So Zach's gonna be pulling, like different parts of the plate because the detail on there is like just so cool, and gonna be kind of putting it into other parts of the armor. And oh, it's going to be so much work, and I'm actually going to be dyeing my hair.
Wow.
So with that costume and the other one that I'm wearing on Thursday. So just so you guys can get an idea, it's going to be really dark red to brighter red to orange to like yellow tips.
Ooh, like fire.
Yeah, so if you can think of another character whose hair would be like that, then yeah, you guys can get an idea of what I'm doing on Thursday. It'll be a different variation of said character.
I'm sure the chat will throw some guests in there, some guesses.
But yeah, freaking she's a master at Warbler and just making beautiful pieces and breastplates and armor and just yeah. If Jackie's in the chat, like
Yep, she is. Actually, she is.
Like no lie, like I fangirl over her stuff. Seriously, I'm like, okay, we need to collaborate more. We need to do more things. I want to go fly over to where you live and just spend a good 2 weeks just making stuff.
Cool. If that happens, let me know. I'll fly over there too. It would be great.
There we go.
That one came from Steve from Canada. Thank you, Steve. Great question. This is an interesting one. B-Man Saint Cool wants to know if you've ever looked up any of your old bullies and have any revenge stories.
I actually looked up one.
Yeah?
On Facebook, and I found him. He's not doing much.
No. That's usually how that story goes. It's never like truly satisfying. You're just like, huh. Turns out that person was a jerk.
Like I had several bullies growing up, but there was one whose name I never forgot because of how verbally abusive he was.
Oh,
like
yeah.
anytime he'd see me walking, he would make little like oink sounds behind me as I walked and would call me fat ass, pig, piggy, porker, like you name it. Oh, there goes a whale, shamu, whatever. Like, yeah, it wasn't fun.
Well, I guess
never forget those people. Unfortunately,
no. But the great thing though is success. What I would say, success is the best revenge, is to become
things that you kind of hope that if I ever go to my high school reunion, I wonder how this is going to play out. I wonder if anyone's going to remember me, because I look nothing like I looked in school. Like my hair was super short. I was literally Dora the Explorer, and my dad looks like the spitting image of Dora's dad. And I have a feeling that maybe the artist was walking by and they saw my dad and myself, and they were like, "This is the girl who's going to be Dora. I am modeling my Dora after," because I literally look like that, but I was really, really, really heavy. So yeah, but like everything was the same headband. The haircut was like just exact, longer. Well, I had very long shorts at that time, and yeah, so I got made fun of a lot.
But the every time that when you actually, in my experience at least, the people who would be the bullies, if they haven't, I guess, changed their ways, there's a consistent theme where they end up being, the kind of people who have a hard time getting a job because they're a jerk and nobody likes hanging around them, and they just sort of fade away. Well, the rest of us are being awesome and having a great time with one another.
This is true. This is true. I'm definitely in a better place now. You know, sometimes you get your bad days, but overall, I'm a happier person now. I
Yes.
wish that I would have had that level of confidence, you know, as a kid and as a teenager going through school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew how to answer back, you know, how to respond versus keeping my mouth shut and not saying anything. And, you know, those one
Yeah.
would have, what, would have, could have, should have things. But at the same time, I feel that, you know, when you go through those things, because you struggled with that and you've dealt with it, it teaches you to empathize with others.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't regret having gone through all of that because at the end of the day, I think it's shaped me into the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm. Oh
You know,
yeah.
those flaws have helped me um, help others with the same things that they've been struggling with. And I think that that's a worthwhile price to pay for that kind of life experience.
That is a very, very good perspective. The chat is now demanding to know what the new cat's name is.
Oh, the other one?
Yeah.
That's Pinky.
Pinky.
Yeah, so she looks like I named her Pinky after, you know, Pinky and the Brain from
Mm-hmm.
anime.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah. She's actually a very feral cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a feral. So when she came up, she'll only let me pet her for a very short period of time, and then she'll run off because if you pet her any longer, she will hiss and just destroy your arm.
Oh geez.
It's pretty bad. But you know, she has a home here. Overall, she's you know when she's okay, she's good. But yeah, there's a few others you can't see
Oh yeah.
on screen. Yeah, there's Jasmine, Isis, Baby up there. Twinkie ran off somewhere else.
Oh my.
And then Samus, she's my blind cat. I don't know where she ran off. She's somewhere around here. Yeah, I have a blind one too. Yeah.
I thought I had a lot of cats. Jeez. Okay, let's grab another question here. This one is what's an interesting one. So Video Game Bang wants to know, is it more difficult for men to make a living as a cosplayer? How can we set ourselves apart? And what I'm curious about, like the whole concept of making a living as a cosplayer. I don't know. I know a lot of cosplayers, and I know a lot of people who do what they do professionally, but I wouldn't technically say they make a living as a cosplayer. In fact, I don't know that I know any men who actually do. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, Ivy?
For men, well, I mean, it's great, foot and face. Yeah, he is a whore for attention. And he knows I'm on camera. He's doing this on purpose.
Oh, of course he is.
Right? You're like, no, it's not about you. It's about me. Mm. Well, I think it just depends. I think with men in the cosplay community, a lot of them can, you know, make a living off of it, especially if they're in the prop making part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have several different people do. I mean, I don't know if you do anything aside from punished props. But you know, there's like Vulpin props.
Yep.
You know, I believe that's what he does.
Oh
like,
yeah, full time. Yeah, Punish Props is our full time thing. Both me and my wife.
Yeah. So you know, there's ways of monetizing it from the male end of it. But when I see it monetized as a business, it's generally with prop work and armor work and building things like that. Because then also you get contacted by larger companies for pieces, you know, being either gaming companies or, you know, comic book places, you know, like Marvel, DC, Solo Roboto, Industries, he's good friends of mine. That's what they do full time, you know, and they do these, oh God, he does amazing work. Like this kick-ass, like Winter Soldier arm.
Oh
like,
yeah.
So, like, beautiful and legit. So I think that there's definitely ways to be able to do that, but it's usually geared towards creating pieces versus guys selling prints.
Mm-hmm.
At least from what I've seen, that's just usually where the market is for men.
Yeah, I think for people making a living inside of the cosplay community in general, though, the cosplay tends to be like the 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 showcase, right? For whatever the actual business is. So if the business is selling props or prints or anything in between, you know, doing your costume, going to conventions, taking photos, showing off, meeting fans is all kind of like the PR side of it. And then you convert that into sales in any way. For us, we sell our books, we have our YouTube videos. I think that's kind of it. There's just a tendency for men to go more as the crafter, prop maker type thing, and there's a tendency for women to go more towards the selling print sort of thing. I think that's mostly because what people want to buy from other people just skews in either one of those directions. Yeah.
I mean, on my end, I'm always looking to work with, you know, different prop builders and things like that. So on my end, you know, I have time to make the costume or, you know, armor components and things like that. But I really don't have time to do, you know, just big props and like that. So on my end, I'd like to reach out to, you know, other creators and, you know, do something like that. But the one thing I always let, you know, just men know whenever they ask is, like, you know, just work on your armor. If you're doing armor, if you're doing, you know, textiles, work on that, you know, and let your work speak for itself. So let your work speak for itself, because you know what? Somewhere along the line, someone's going to want to commission the things that you have created.
Absolutely. Evil Ted is in the chat too. He says,
Yay!
very well said. Cons are my PR. Absolutely. Ted loves going to conventions.
I think I met him. Where was it at? I think it was Long Beach. He was on the side of my booth, and I've been watching his videos for a while, and it was just really cool to like see him. So hopefully I'll see him at more shows.
Yeah,
it was cool. Like, I love his stuff. I love your stuff, dude.
Ted's the coolest. We have time for a couple more here. That last one came to us from Video Game Bang. Thank you. Hey. This one is personally, I prefer the air is the username. And there's a couple questions too about asking about like going to conventions. This person got to meet you in Detroit and said it was nice meeting you. And I was wondering how you determine which conventions you go to. And similarly, I have a couple of people asking about whether or not either of us will go to a specific convention. So how do you pick out conventions?
Well, with shows, except for I think 2 or 3, I generally get invited there as a guest, because realistically, between the cost of everything involved on going to a show, there's just no way that anyone would be able to travel to that many shows a year without being a guest at those shows.
It would be financially irresponsible.
No, I would not have a house.
No.
Like, buy a house. Cats are gonna live on the street. That won't be fun. So yeah, generally speaking, I usually get invited as a guest to a lot of the shows, with a few exceptions, like San Diego Comic-Con. That's by far the most expensive show that I do a year, because I have to pay for my own booth at that show.
Yeah.
And it's a ridiculous amount. In addition to hotel, driving there, food, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. Usually, though, fans will reach out to shows and say, hey, we're interested in having so-and-so, like Ivy Doomkitty or Punish Props or whoever, at the convention. We'd like for you guys to consider her to be a guest at the show. And then depending on the convention, if they see that there's enough people that are requesting the same person over and over again, at that point, that's when they reach out and say, hey, we've gotten a lot of requests from your fans saying that they'd like you to come to our show, so it makes sense for us to invite you to come to our show because there's people there that want to see you.
Yeah, and you work out an arrangement generally.
Yeah, so from the convention side on their end, because at the end of the day, they're running a business, they need to see that it's financially viable for them to invite someone to us. And they don't know that unless the fans reach out to those conventions and mention that. Yeah,
and it's interesting too, because obviously having a large fan base can help sway a company to feel that it would be a good fit for them. But having a really rabid fan base, I've found, that is willing to, I guess, technically bombard the convention with requests. Hey, this guy's really cool. You should invite him. Convention companies like to see really engaged, to them, customers who are going to be at the show, who are going to share everything on social media. So if you are a fan of a particular cosplayer and you want them at your show, absolutely get a hold of the people that run the convention. If that cosplayer, so for example with us, we have a page on our website for convention appearances where companies can get a hold of us. It's just a form they can fill out. That's how the Super Toy Con got a hold of me. It's because they invited me here. They invited Ivy there in Vegas. We'll both be there hanging out like a couple of bosses. And it worked out. That's exactly how it works. Fans talk to the convention. Convention talks to me. We work something out.
So, yeah, definitely your tweets, your emails, all that good stuff helps. Yeah. And even more so when it's done politely. Not like, hey, you better invite them or else. No. Be like, hey, we would really like you to consider so-and-so and so-and-so. And just be really polite about it, because that usually, generates the most nice response from them. No, because I've had some that are like, you guys suck. And I'm like, no, wrong way of doing it. Don't do that. You just shot me in the foot.
Yeah.
Don't stop me.
Because then the convention sees Ivy's fans are jerks. We don't want them here.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah. So just be nice and say please.
Good question there. Let's grab one more, then I think we're going to be able to wrap it up here. This was cool, and I'm very interested to hear about this as well. Jay wants to know, he saw your photo shoot in Cosplay Culture magazine, and he's curious how that came about. I'm curious, too.
The shoot? Like, me being on the magazine? Or?
Yeah.
They shot me an email, and they're like, hey, we'd love to do a cover of Cosplay Culture magazine with you on it. Would you be interested? And at first I was like, no way. No, there's no way. And yeah, I got it confirmed, and yeah, it was totally legit that they wanted me. I was like, oh my God. So they asked, what costumes do you have? And I told them, well, I'm working on this, and this. And they liked the Magneto a lot. So I started working on that costume specifically for that. And originally they had wanted to shoot it in LA, and somewhere along the line they changed their mind and wanted to shoot in New York instead. Oh. So I flew out to New York for a weekend, and we did the shoot for that and the, it's called a Scant from Next Gen. And yeah, so that was pretty cool to get an email like that, where you're just like, it's just mind-blowing. And I have yet to go to a store and actually see it there. I'm scared to, because I get the photos from fans where they're like, hey, I just picked it up, or hey, I just saw this at the newsstand, and they'll post photos. But I think once I physically go and I see it, it'll truly be real to me. But the cover reveal itself was pretty cool. We did that at MegaCon with one of the representatives for Cosplay Culture magazine, and we're doing the cover reveal, and Stan Lee decides to walk into the panel room to say, hey, I heard that you just did the cover as a female Magneto, and I just wanted to congratulate you. And I was like, oh, thank you.
That's pretty magical.
It was so cool.
Stan Lee doing cameos all over the place.
Yeah, but he really likes gender bends.
That's cool.
Yeah, he likes his characters to be gender bend. So heads up, people.
That's really neat. Awesome. Well, thank you for that question. That came in from Jay, I think. I can't remember. Nope. Maybe. Yes, Jay. Thank you, Jay. That was fantastic. Of course, I forgot. I didn't even mention this, and I feel like a chump. But you have been using Patreon, which we have too, to great effect. And of course, everyone should go over there and contribute to your Patreon campaign. How is? We've had a lot of fun and success with Patreon. How have you been enjoying it?
It's been phenomenal.
Awesome.
I was honestly, like, just to be all cards on the table. I was very hesitant to join Patreon. I think one of my friends told me about it back in September last year. Like, hey, you should join it. You'd be great at it. You keep talking about you not being able to, create things as much anymore, or, you can't go back and do that much boudoir because you're so focused on this and this. Why don't you just try it? Just try it. And I was on the fence because during that time there were a lot of people in the community that were just very negative against doing Patreon. Like, and also one of my friends was like just super like, don't do it. It's like doing GoFundMe. You don't need to do that. You don't need it. And, I had to sit down with one of my other friends that had been already doing it for a bit, and she explained, this is how it works. On your end, if you want to utilize it more of a fan club, you can do that. Just make sure it's worthwhile for everybody, and your fans that, like, just really want to support your work, or, get, like, a lot of exclusive content that's behind the scenes type stuff. The ones that are interested, they'll gravitate towards it and they'll do it. And it's really made such a huge difference. I've been able, last year alone, because I was so busy, I maybe shot 6 times in the whole year.
Oh, wow.
6 photo shoots the whole year. And since being able to do Patreon, I've done 2 to 3 photo shoots a month.
Wow.
And Patreon's enabled me to be able to do that and just have the time for that. As busy as I am, it's given me the ability to do that.
That's great. I love hearing those stories. That's really awesome.
Yeah, well, it's awesome, and it's also the reason why I was able to start doing the T-shirts, and the reason why the little figures are happening, and all of these other things that I've been producing are largely because Patreon's enabled me to do that. Oh, the website, Video Game Bang, actually, VGB Studios, they are building my website.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've always wanted one since the beginning, and I've never been able to, and Patreon's allowed that.
That's great.
So yeah, it's
worth it.
My fans on there that follow and help and everything and give me their input. Plus we play video games too, and it's just such a fun loving little community. You feel like family in there.
Oh yeah. It's worth it, especially for the little figures that I need in my life. All right, well, that wraps it up for us today. Ivy, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me. I had so much fun.
You betcha. I'm super stoked to get to go hang out with you at San Diego Comic-Con, then in Las Vegas, all around this nation.
And Rose City.
Holy crap. Come on up to the Pacific Northwest.
3 times this year, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you, chat, our wonderful prop tarts, hanging out, bringing some amazing questions today. We'll be back again next week, I'm pretty sure. Although I don't think Brittany will be here, so it may not run as smoothly as it does normally. Brittany does a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, for hanging out, and we will see you all next week. Bye, guys. Yay.